Hello, welcome to the Binghamton University Anime Podcast. I'm Craig Specht.
I'm Ben Cohen.
I'm Elias.
I'm Finian.
So our theme this month is gateway anime, or the anime that got all of us into anime. It's a close topic to our hearts because it's truly the shows that influenced us as people and made us want to explore this whole new medium that's different from stuff we were watching as children, like traditional Western animation or silly live-action TV shows.
Or waifus.
Ooh. Pokemon best anime confirmed.
All right, but like
right next to Boku no Pico.
Alright, May or Miss Ego.
who didn't watch Pokemon as a kid though? Like,
I don't.
It really depends on, did you watch it a lot or a little?
I watched it a lot. I don't know.
I watched it a lot,
Fair
yeah.
amount.
I feel like I watched it fair amount, but not quite as much as Naruto. Like Naruto was like that. Like I watched every single episode and it was up to date till episode 400. And the filler started making my eyes bleed, and I thought I took the medical decision to stop and like take a year break.
Well, like as a child, like I would watch every new Pokemon episode that came out. But then once Naruto came out, like in the West, when it became relevant, when I was in like 3rd, 4th grade, that's when I would start watching Naruto as opposed to Pokemon as much. Like I saw all the original episodes like multiple times, whatever. But then by the time Naruto came out, they were onto like the Sinnoh episodes that just were not as good.
That's basically how it went for me. Although I did like the Sinnoh episodes, some of them.
Sinnoh was alright.
It was good.
I mean,
No, actually, it was fun for me. By the time Sinnoh was a thing, I was completely gone from the show.
I mean, to be honest, this might be terrible to say, but I honestly, like, I have a terrible memory, so I might have been super into Pokemon and just not know.
Yeah, we're just
Because,
giving you
like,
different
because
cues.
I played the video game, like, voraciously, to use a good vocab word. Because, like, on Leaf Green alone, I had over 200 hours and had 6 level 100 Pokemon, and it was
Wow.
super close to catching them all, but I eventually gave up because I realized my brother played the game for a bit
Yeah.
and ruined my chances of getting Mewtwo. And,
Damn, that sucks.
because you can only go to the fire region where you can get the Fire Stone to
Right.
get Mewtwo once. But anyway, this is a pretty
didn't have
big
an action
tangent.
replay?
Yeah.
You should have killed your brother.
Oh, damn.
Honestly,
Probably, actually.
honestly, that is a punishment by death. Like, he deserves it. But
I have an unpopular opinion. I always thought, and I still think to this day, that the Yu-Gi-Oh anime is far superior to Pokemon. Like, I thought that the like flowing narrative was so interesting as a kid, and like I watched it so much more than I watched Pokemon reruns because like I would keep watching every new episode because I was actually following the plot and wanted to know what was happening. And Yu-Gi-Oh like is one of the few shows. It's like one of the first experiences that I remember as a child actually following a narrative as opposed to just episodic shows. It was like one of the first things I ever watched where every episode followed the next one, and I think that was cool.
Yeah, assuming you're talking about the original Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Do you mean anything about the other seasons, or just...
No, I like all the other seasons too. Like I've seen them all.
Diamond City, that was the thing.
What?
The Diamond City one where it's like, oh, we got duelists and now we're cool. Yeehaw.
I mean, honestly, I did not follow. I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh for the narrative at all, or I guess I did, but it was when I was older and also watching Naruto. For me, Yu-Gi-Oh was just basically like, whoa, look at this dude's hairdo,
Yeah.
Yagi game. Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, there's something more grand beneath it all. Like with Pokemon, it's like, alright, how grand can it really get?
Yeah, like Yu-Gi-Oh got like there were stakes involved. Like Pokemon, you lose a battle and whatever, everything's okay, no one dies. But like Yu-Gi-Oh, there were, the fate of the world was in peril. Even though Yu-Gi would always win, it's like the Shadow Realm and all that
Well, I mean,
jazz.
Team Rocket was always threatening the world also, but they were just like sold so in such a pathetic fashion that you just couldn't take them seriously. Partly because you weren't supposed to in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, I have something to say that actually just reminded me of something. Okay, I saw this post. How old do you guys think Jesse and James are?
Like 30?
Wait, who?
Jesse and James Team Rocket, the guy with the blue hair.
I think-
and Jesse with the red hair.
I think they are. I think I remember they're like 18 or 20 or something. I think.
I saw it, so I'm just gonna watch your reactions. I'll just say that I thought they were much older than they actually were.
How old
Yeah.
are they?
15 and 16.
What?
Yeah, I'm just, yep, they're in their teens. They're not, I
No.
thought they were in their
So
20s.
I would like.
That doesn't
I guess
make
I would have
sense.
thought that they were in their later teens, but yeah, I like kind of had an inkling in my head that like they were younger.
But
No.
they're drawn so like adult-like, and their voice actors, and at least in the U.S., like play them as adults.
Hey, if you're evil, you don't age well, my guy.
I mean, like, I guess
One
it makes
of my
sense because like
brothers.
Ash is 10, which is really young in hindsight.
Yeah.
But like he acts like he should be like 15.
Pokemon's actually through Ash's perspective, and he's still in a coma. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that old theory, yeah.
Wait, my thing though is, has Ash aged yet?
No.
No,
And
they
that's-
literally,
he is like a year,
they
right?
literally said, like, by the time they got to the 5th region Unova, like in black and white, they were like, here's 10-year-old Ash Ketchum. And I'm like, really? He's still 10? Like, you couldn't even be, like, 11?
He's in
12?
he's in
Still
his
10.
he's in the 7th region now, and he's
Yeah.
still 10. So we're to assume the whole show up to this point has taken place in 1 year.
He looks even...
doesn't make
He
sense.
looks even younger now with the new art style. He looks even
Yeah.
The
younger.
guy did a speed run in real life.
I mean, I think it like makes sense from like an economic standpoint why they wouldn't do that, but I feel like that's
Oh, yeah.
why
Yeah.
like Pokemon is forever that like that anime that like you liked as a kid but just stopped liking as an adult, generally speaking, because like I feel like it just doesn't really age well. Like it's geared for
Yeah.
that audience and they keep that consistent, which
Yeah.
is like kind of cool, but
Well, I've heard people really like X and Y and Sun and Moon because they really change the art style up, and it's like visually appealing.
Yeah,
Like
X-
it looks good.
Also, in X and Y, Ash wasn't a complete idiot because in the region before he would like forget to bring more Pokemon to a battle. Like he did some really stupid stuff.
Also, in this one, didn't he make it to like the finals?
Yeah, he actually
once?
made it to the finals, and then he ended up losing because writers.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
I mean,
he
it
lost.
was like close to some shit like that, right?
Yeah, it was close,
Like,
but I
hey,
mean,
he almost did it.
technically he should have won because
Oh.
he had type advantage, but
No.
he lost because the writers won in the end.
The writer type, that's the biggest advantage of them all.
Yeah, that basically cemented the fact that he will never win. The writers will never let him win the Pokemon League at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's why I like Yu-Gi-Oh better even to this day, just because it changes every few years, and like they keep innovating the card game with different mechanics, and instead of just adding that to the original cast, there's now just new casts every time, and these new
Yeah.
casts are different and interesting. Like I don't know, I just watched Arc 5, Arc V, whatever it's called, like for the first time in like March, and I've seen like half of it, and it's really good. Like it's addicting, and it's got a lot of cool fan service in it, but it's not like no,
the best part.
no, they travel to different dimensions, like, and they have a fusion dimension, and some of the GX characters reappear, and they go to a synchro dimension, and some of the 5Ds characters appear, and then they go to an XC's dimension, and some of the Zexal characters are there. So it's just kind of cool seeing them interact.
For better or worse, they did just like go, okay, Yugi is not the main character anymore. Like I think it was when GX started, James like running like, I'm late to class, and then he bumps into Yugi. Yugi's like, hi, I am very cool, and you are now the main character. And it was like, oh shit,
That was a
that's
cool
the George.
moment.
Yeah.
But
I
one
think
thing
Jaden was great.
One thing
He
I
was
do
not
want to
too bad.
say though is that I feel like although like Yu-Gi-Oh might be better story-wise, it hasn't like sustained itself with I feel like children, at least in the United States.
No,
Like
that's true. Yeah.
like if you talk to kids, like basically everyone knows about Pokemon.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. I worked with kids over the summer, and a lot of them knew Yu-Gi-Oh.
All right, a lot of them knew Yu-Gi-Oh, but nowhere near the amount of people that like
Yeah, no,
knew Pokemon.
You're right.
Especially because Pokemon Go was such a big success.
Oh,
That
God.
blue Poke, like that actually, like honestly, like it has nothing to do with anime, but that app, like, I feel like made so much money for Pokemon, it wasn't even funny.
I was surprised though. Like I saw kids over the summer playing Yu-Gi-Oh at the camp I worked at, and like a lot of them were playing, and I was generally shocked.
Card Game Club plays Yu-Gi-Oh a decent amount. That being said, it's not really big anymore just because it got to the point where The cards and decks aren't designed to last an entire duel. It's designed to win the first 2 turns.
Yeah.
If you don't win the first 2 turns, then you lose. So there's gonna have to be some.
Well, they just changed it up.
Something.
The new link format like really changed things up. So, but
Mhm.
that's really hard to explain. And this isn't a podcast about the Yu-Gi-Oh rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No,
Yeah.
but so I guess now I guess we can go around. What was and talk about we basically all seem to have around the same fundamental things that the first watches that got us into anime. And now I'd be kind of interested to see what was the anime that kind of made you realize that that anime was such a big genre, or kind of turned you into the person that is now talking in an anime broadcast. Not broadcast, podcast. Big
Anime
difference.
didn't influence me that much.
What?
I would hope that anime didn't influence me that much.
I mean, I'm the president, so R.I.P.
Yeah. I mean, Naruto really changed me as a kid. That was my obsession for the second half of elementary school. But I would say the anime that really made me aware of anime and trying to seek out others, it was kind of 2. First, there was Death Note, which the premise just sounded really cool, and I'm all right, I gotta check this out because it sounds really interesting. And then I watched it, and then I loved it, and then time went by for a few months, and then I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood because I heard that was cool, and then that's kind of when it started. Because then from there I started watching Soul Eater, and then Oran, SAO, Attack on Titan, and that's kind of where it started. So I don't know. I think I saw an analogy somewhere that was you shouldn't watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood first because that's why would you want to start out with the greatest anime of all time? Because then everything else is just going to go downhill, which is kind of true, unfortunately. But I thought it was a good place to start because it was really cool. I don't know what everyone else's opinion.
I mean, so I kind of disagree with that opinion because I think the anime that changed the game for me personally, and Stratford and folks, was Valrav the Liberator, the best anime that was ever made. No, it's not. It's actually kind of garbage. But besides that, to give some context, I think Valrav the Liberator came out in 2013,
Mm-hmm.
so it was relatively recently. And by that time, I had watched not a lot of anime, but a handful. I was up to date at Naruto. Pretty sure I've watched all of Bleach at that point. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Bleach did finish by 2013.
2012, I think, is
Yep.
when Bleach ended.
So I watched all of Bleach. I watched, I think, Death Note, and I saw a couple other things. I saw a couple mech anime, but what made Valrav the Liberator so interesting to me was the fact that basically episode 1, so it's basically about vampire. So it's basically about there's a super powerful Gundam mechs, well, not Gundam mechs, but mechs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you get in, the thing the mech basically asks you the question: are you ready to lose your humanity? And if you say yes, you can pilot the mech, but you basically become a vampire that needs to eat people.
This sounds so edgy.
It is so edgy. It is
Are you ready to lose your humanity?
Are you ready to lose your humanity?
I reject my humanity. Cha-cha!
And yes, it is super duper edgy. But I kind of what I thought was kind of interesting is I felt I just thought the whole kind of paradigm shift of having the pilots of the ships being basically intrinsically bad people because they basically have to eat people and do horrible things to pilot these mechs. So because of that and that kind of deconstruction, it kind of showed me that how broad anime was. Because before that, I just saw basically a bunch of anime that were kind of more or less shonen-y and more or less followed similar plot patterns and things like that. Valrav the Liberator eventually kind of got to shit, honestly. But the fact that, like, eventually, because, like, I thought episode 1 was actually pretty interesting, kind of turned things on its head, and, like, it did decline. Granted, I thought the end was pretty good, but overall, I still one of my favorite anime just because of the fact that it made me realize that anime is, like it's just so broad and so, like, vast a thing that, like, you can't really, like, say there's the best anime. So, like, for instance, like, you can say Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood's the best anime, but the thing is like, it gives you a certain type of anime. You know what I mean? It kind of gives you an action, shonen-y, like, a little bit edgy sometimes, like, anime where, like, Nichijou gives you a totally different whatever. Berserk gives you a totally different side of anime.
Well, like, I fell in love with Brotherhood because, like, I'd seen stuff like Naruto, and I'm like, I kind of know shonen, like, it's basic, you know, whatever. Yeah. But, like, Brotherhood's plot was just really unpredictable at times. Like, after episode 13 or so, like, I just assumed, like, oh, it's going to be really linear. They're going to somehow find the Philosopher's Stone. Everything's going to be normal. And then all of a sudden they're going to the ice place with all the snow, and there's battles everywhere, and things got so complicated. And I was just, like, shocked at how open this world was and, like, how all of this happened. Like, it wasn't as straightforward as I thought it would be. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool.
So I didn't think it was straightforward, but I thought, like, at least where it kind of starts off, and, like, I don't know, I thought it, like, I felt like I was never, I guess, so I was surprised at parts, but it still fit within kind of the shonen cast / like, shonen box. Like, I feel like it never really left.
No, it's
like,
definitely shonen, like, very shonen, but not like Naruto shonen or One Piece shonen. Just like,
yeah, I feel you. But, like, that's the thing that, like, that's why Valorant the Liberator literally blew my mind, because I was like, there's stuff outside of shonen, and that's basically what, like, opened the gateway, part the doors, and that is, like, what, because, like, now, like, part of the reason, like, I actually like watching all different types of anime, and, like, I try to keep that to this day, where, like, I'll watch, like, a little bit of shonen, a little bit of seinen, occasionally josei when it's there, and, like, some shoujo too, and I try to, like, generally get, like, a balanced amount watching, so that way, like, I don't go insane watching only shonen / shoujo, and also because, like, I feel like, well, also as president, it's nice to keep, like, a balanced repertoire of shows.
Yeah. I mean, I like seasonal anime because it gives me opportunity to watch stuff that I normally don't go after. Like, it's much easier to just be like, all right, I'll watch one shoujo episode a week, as opposed to let me sit down and watch 12 episodes of this romance or whatever.
So one thing to, like, last thing about Valorant the Liberator, so before it, I honestly did not realize that there was such a thing as running shows. Like, I don't know, I thought anime was just basically created in some, like, space and time universe. I don't know. Or basically, honestly, I kind of thought it came out like Netflix did, where it basically came out all at the same time, except for things like Naruto and Bleach. They were special. So, like, Valorant the Liberator made me realize, like, oh, they're, like, it's a work in progress. Like, I actually, like, and then,
it's like real TV.
Yeah, real TV, exactly. So, like, that's basically what made me realize, like, oh, anime is, like, I guess, kind of like real TV.
Yeah, anime is real, kids. You heard it here first. I guess my first anime was Lucky Star. So there's, like, no grand scope of anything. There's no, oh man, look at this, like, fantastic development and all the subversion. Lucky Star was basically everything that you could have predicted, but it was done nicely. It was done cute. It was done well. It's kind of like, it was so comfortable in itself that it's almost kind of hard to talk about it, for me at least, just because it's like I said, there was no subversion except in the little interview subplot where the Brock looking dude ends up goes Super Saiyan at some point. That was a little bit of a Nichijou moment. Speaking of Nichijou, Lucky Star was basic. I feel like in hindsight it's a gateway to Nichijou. It's an inferior version. But I say this harshly, but I do hold a lot of love for both of them, and I feel bad for saying this now. But
well, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Nichijou and Lucky Star are kind of different
They're very
things.
different.
Because I feel like one thing, like, to defend Lucky Star, granted I haven't seen really any of it. I've just seen clips. But I feel like what makes, like, cool about Lucky Star is that, like, it kind of just shows, like, I feel like watching an anime that's just normal can actually be fun. Like, weird,
on that point. So I had watched Madoka, Madoka, with some friends 2 months back, and immediately afterwards we saw like one of the movies. We decided to watch a few episodes of Little Witch Academia, and it was so weird. It's like, where's the violence? Where's the backstabbing? Where's everyone trying to kill each other to save this stupid 10-year-old girl that's really not worth it in hindsight? Jesus Christ, Homer, why? It was just so normal. It was just like, oh, here's 4 girls and they're actually in class and they're actually learning and they're actually having fun. It's like, no, they're not. You can't just have fun. That's not how it works. You gotta go back in time and do the thing and go whoosh whoosh. I'm the demon, hell god, man. But that's not what Little Witch Academia was. And then I watched those few episodes again recently, and it was like, oh, it's cute. I think I can get into it. And I'm probably gonna watch Lucky Star again and just see like how it is in hindsight, having seen all the crazy like, ooh, here's the twist animes. Maybe it'll be a little bit unnerving in the back of my mind, just like, all right, where was the anger and where's I don't know. Oh, whoops! World War III happens. Yeah.
Wait, but so like, how did Nichigo get you in there? Nichigo, my
Nichigo
bad.
Kurosaki.
The full hollow Nichigo. Wait, so how did Nichigo get me into it further? I guess it was. I mean, the Nichigo doesn't really have a plot either, so I guess which is surprising because most of my other animes, or at least for me to get into an anime now, it has to be a plot of sorts. But with Nichijo, it was kind of the subversion. Here's where the subversions come in. The subversion of like how like most slice of life would be, where it's so easy for a slice of life to be like minimal effort and to follow all the tropes that like Lucky Star would have done, but not do it well, like not have like an endearing enough character or a little cute episode or any of that. It was basically like all these crazy moments where like you launch a bazooka at a stranger because he tapped you on the shoulder and you're just like, wait, what the hell is this guy? That's kind of things that like, at least for me, it kind of does play out on my mind. And of course that's not what happens in real life, but the crazy thing about Nichijo was that it happens in real life. Blasting pistols, then machine guns, then rocket launchers at a person who's not paying attention to you. And then it's just like, yes, he's also going to walk to the bathroom now to clean himself off from all the steam and dirt. Like, it actually happened to him, but it's so normal. It's like, well, you've done this to me. I guess I'll clean myself up. It was just like...
It's very surreal.
Yeah, because usually in a lot of other times, like, whenever a character gets angry and they grow a big head for some reason, it's just like ignoring. That's just like, it's just to emphasize, it's just to exaggerate. Which is done in Nichijo also, but it also actually happens. Like, the rocket launcher is actually shot, and a little robot girl is actually sent flying halfway across town, and it explores that when she's like trying to get down from a roof, and then she cries because she can't get down.
Wait, so you're trying to say that doesn't happen in real life every day?
It does to me.
I'm saying I wish it did. I wish I could casually shoot rocket launchers at people. Don't knock on my door, FBI, CIA, better organization.
Alright, so I guess my turn. So I'm essentially one of those people that came in with when Sword Art Online was released, and that was like the biggest thing to hit anime ever. So yeah, I essentially what got me into it was a friend of mine. We both like playing video games, and he was like, "Oh, here's the show," and it takes place where they're trapped in a video game. Like, that sounds pretty cool. And then I ended up.
It was aimed at gamers. What?
Yeah, and yeah, I ended up watching it. And I thought it was pretty good because I haven't seen any other show yet. And then I got like Attack on Titan, Toradora, and like a whole like mix of anime, and it was just like, wow, look how many different types of shows that there are. Like, it's not just one particular type, and there's such a wide variety for everybody, no matter who you are.
So it's funny, I also watched SAO and I kind of liked it the first time I watched it, at least the first part of it. Like I was like, whoa, what's going on? But that being said, what ruined SAO for me, and I feel like by the time SAO came out, I watched a fair amount of anime, was the whole fact that I legitimately thought Asuna and Kirito would get together. Like, you know what I mean? Like Asuna would be the like only girl.
Oh, you didn't think it was gonna turn into
Yeah, I did not think it was gonna turn. And honestly, like looking back, think about how much better of a show it would be
if it just focused on
Yeah.
instead of every single time he goes into a game he meets a girl.
Yeah.
That was my problem when I first watched it. I'm like, there are too many characters that are just not utilized, and like there was so much wasted potential because it's like, hey, here's a new interesting character, and then they're just gone for the rest of the series. Like I didn't understand what harems were at the time, so I didn't really know that was a thing. But like, all these new girls would come, and I'd be like, oh, cool, Kirito's new friends, and then they'd just be gone. But like, Asuna was there, and I'm like, this is cool, whatever. But like, I don't know, it was kind of like the opposite. Like, I didn't want him to end up with these girls, but like, I wanted them to be characters, and then they just weren't.
Oh, really? Yeah. Honestly, I couldn't give a flying hoot about any of them, really. Because, they had, like, such little screen time or development. I thought he was just going to meet them and they would never show up again, but they ended up showing up again.
Yeah.
For pretty much no reason.
It was just weird. Like, it wasn't a good balance. Like, it was just like, hey, one episode, goodbye.
Yeah.
And then they're just good friends randomly. And it just
Yeah, and then
sense.
that's all that's the time before you understand what a harem is.
Yeah.
Well, like, what kind of broke my mind, and like what made me kind of think like this, like SEO would be different, was the whole fact like they like marries Asuna. Like, I thought that would keep like Kirito keep his
keep him down.
yeah, keep his junk in his pants, but not the case. And that's like what kind of made me salty. Is it's like they have a kid, or a virtual kid, whatever, and it's like. And like that's what really angered me is like he has a kid, he has like I guess a wife supposedly, and it's like in the second part of season 1, it's like now you're just fooling around while your wife is like God knows where. It's
with
like
his cousin.
His sister / cousin.
That's what ruined the show for me. I'm like, why is his cousin like a love interest? Like that was just weird.
Oh, Japan.
This is really random, but one of the gateway, I'm not even sure if I should call it gateway, but one of the anime that made me realize that anime could be total garbage was Orimo. I watched every single episode of Orimo. And till the end, I thought there was no way this can end up with him marrying his sister. Oh, spoiler alert.
He does.
Well, marrying, quote unquote. It was like a ceremonial. They didn't actually get married.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, they didn't.
I didn't. I haven't seen it.
It was. I mean,
Hold it too close for comfort.
all right. So, a symbolic marriage to your sister is still a symbolic marriage.
Oh yeah.
And that one time where he stays in the hotel with her, it's like,
and then you symbolically seal the knot, and you symbolically have a kid.
it's just like holy cow. Especially because like there were so many better girls.
Oh yeah, no, Kuroneko. Oh my god, that got me so mad. Like they broke up for almost no reason. Was because he
has to bang a sister.
Yeah, literally that's what it was. He was like, "Oh,
Sisters
I like
all
you,
need, bro."
But I
like you, but I love my sister more." It's like, where did that come in? Because like the rest of the show, you don't see where he ends up starting to like her romantically. It's like all of a sudden he just likes his sister.
And I'm telling you, a sister. Like, don't compare Orimo and A Sister's All You Need, because even though A Sister's All You Need references it, it's actually surprisingly well written.
Yeah.
Actually went over something kind of. Did you see the most recent one of that? Like, he was actually kind of a little bit dark.
No, like the last couple one have been like surprisingly dark and like almost zero fan service, and you're like, what is this show?
Yeah, it jumps really tonally. Like it'll go from like fan service and all happy joy, and it actually gets kind of serious.
No, but like the last 2 episodes, like there's a little bit of fan service, but like a surprising amount of like plot and character development. I'm like, what?
Character development?
Yeah.
It's like
in A Sister's All You Need?
And like it's actually something similar with Keijo too, where it's
Keijo.
like
I liked Keijo.
Yo, you wouldn't think.
I thought it was alright.
Really
yes.
I literally just like saw something for Keijo. I just saw an ass swing by the screen. I'm like,
it's all right. Like, it's satisfactory.
it's
not awful.
For those who don't know, I just want to like put it out there that like Keijo is a sport where women fight each other using exclusively their butts and their breasts, and they like. But it goes so over the top, and like each woman has their own special move. Like one woman like smacks people like in the lower part of their chin to concuss people, and you're like, yeah, like it takes the plot line so serious that like it's actually surprisingly good.
My favorite was the gate of Bootylon or whatever.
Oh yeah,
it was just it was Gilgamesh's attack from Fate Zero, but just with butts.
I want the booty.
All right.
Wait. So what? Yeah. Wait.
That is a total tangent.
Wait. So someone said something that. Oh yeah. Like what was everyone's first like trash anime that they realized like this is garbage?
Yeah. So mine was Oremo.
I did not like Black Butler. Like, I watched it, and I'm like, this is just boring. Like, I'm like, the art's really pretty. I really like the music. I like the setting. Like, everything aesthetically was really cool, but it was just boring. Nothing happened.
Yeah, for mine, it was some, like, visual novel series, and I was just like, yeah, again, it's like nothing happened. And also, because it was a visual novel series, you end up spending the time with every other girl, and then he randomly just loves the girl from the first episode who you almost never saw again.
Which one was it?
I don't know. I have to look up the name. It's that insignificant.
Visual novels, they really contribute to humanity.
Ugh.
Hey, Steins Gate was pretty good.
There definitely are exceptions, but some of them are kind of bad.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a visual novel show that I've liked, because I haven't seen Steins Gate yet.
Oh, you'll like
it.
I don't like the Fate series.
You also need to watch the dub for Steins Gate.
I've seen 2 episodes, yeah.
Nah,
the dub is good. I've seen.
I mean, the dub is good, but I feel like you can watch either.
Well, it's the nice thing about Steins Gate dub is that it's actually with the American audience in mind. So one of the best parts is that at some point they're looking for the manufacturer of like some little pin or pendant or whatever, and they go across a bunch of like street vendors like, hey, have you seen this? Do you know of someone who would make this kind of thing? Where? So eventually he comes across a black a black vendor, and in the sub obviously it's like we're in Japan, so the guy's like, well, he must be an American, so I'm gonna try and speak American. So he just goes from speaking Japanese to saying "son of a bitch."
Oh yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah.
But then the black guy is just like, "Dude, I speak Japanese," and he looks pretty stupid. In a dub though, with the American audience in mind, because that'll be really weird, is that he's like, "All right, I'm gonna talk hip with him because he is urban or something like that." And basically he just goes like, yo, what's up, dog? I'm just looking for the thing, and then the beep, bop, boop. And the guy's just like, dude, I can just, what do you want? And then he's embarrassed again, but for either audience, it plays perfectly.
Wait, so Ali, what's the worst anime? The anime that realized that you were trash. I want to hear this.
Okay, a lot of people like this anime, and it's very nicely done. I'm sure a lot of people do like it. It looks nice, but we're on high school. It's like nothing was happening. Like what happened with what was the anime? What was the anime?
Triggered.
What was the anime you pointed out earlier where nothing happened?
Black Butler.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. It's like, all right, what's gonna happen? But I mean, that's the thing. Like, what Lucky Star and Nichijou could do for me, around high school just didn't do. It's like, all right. Where's the happenings?
I love Oran. It's like my favorite shoujo series.
That is a surprising.
I'm not. That's why I don't want to say it's trashy. I'm just saying that it was the first one that
you just didn't like.
I just didn't like.
That's fair. But no, Oran's great.
See, I've never had that experience because I deep down shoujo might be my favorite anime. I just feel like I haven't come to acceptance with that.
That's
like I remember when I was like in 8th grade, I just loved Skip Beat, because it was the only shoujo I watched. Like I didn't realize like there were a lot of
there's
like
a plethora.
There's like a whole like crap ton of them. But and I was also like 8th grade, like edgy, like dude, man, guy, and I was just like, it like
Captain
I was just
of the
like
wrestling team.
no, that did not happen in 8th grade. But like I was basically just like, all right, it's not that I like love stories, it's just that Skip Beat is that good. And I just like told myself for that for like years until I realized I was like, oh, I guess I just like all shoujo.
No,
that's kind of the same
Except-
thing. That's kind of the same thing for me. Yeah, I kind of also like romance series, but like no one else that I knew would like accept that. And then I was like, oh, here's a bunch of like romance series, and people are alright if you're a dude and you like romance series. So I was like, it was like kind of cool. That also what drew me in.
Yeah, I'm like the opposite. Like I watched Oran and I'm like, wow, this is great, and then I just don't like other romances that much. Mainly because I think Oran really isn't that much of a romance. It's more just like a slice of life,
Yeah, I never
reverse
saw
harem,
it as
and
a
like
romance.
it had cool ideas, like the whole thing where Haruhi's just like kind of gender and what's the word?
Ginger mutual.
No, like gender
Transgen-
neutral kind of like
Androgynous.
I don't know.
Androgynous?
Yeah, androgynous.
Oh, Haru, yeah.
Yeah, and
I
then
thought you
and
were
then,
talking about her dad.
well,
who's
yeah, her dad
transgender.
too was transgender, and I thought that was interesting. And like,
Oh wait, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Oh.
yeah.
Her dad.
I didn't think that you would cross that line. Wow.
Yep.
Well,
Well-
was he transgender because they still referred to her as his dad?
All right, so I
It's
actually,
getting confusing. Was Haruhi's dad transgender or just a cross-dresser?
I
I think
think,
a little bit of
These
both.
are-
I
flaming
think, I mean, it's really hard to say because they don't delve into the topic super seriously. But I think he at one point is like I think she says about her daughter Haruhi that like they are her mom at one point / like kind of in between mom and dad.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not super specified. It's kind of like Kino's journey where it's like, is
Yeah.
Kino like, so Kino is biologically a woman, but you never really like Kino never really identifies as a man or a woman throughout the entire series. So it's like, so I feel like saying like she's kind of difficult because like you're not super aware. So I feel like it's a similar thing where you just don't have enough information. I feel like
Yeah.
I could be wrong though. It's been a
The
while.
fact that they pressed on it that much is, I guess, pretty progressive considering the time and place.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to know in Japan, like like Japan's actually in terms of gender fluidity more, I would say, liberal than the United States for
Really?
quite a long time. I
It's the
mean,
same thing
yeah,
with Turkey, actually, surprisingly enough. For some reason.
yeah, like it's one of those things. Like the United States, like in the early 2000s, was pretty extremely conservative, and I feel like people forget
Okay.
that.
It is now.
Wait.
I mean, like, we just hit past the 50% mark, basically.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait. This is what my anime list says. It's Ryoji Ranka Fujioka. Haruhi's father works at a cross-dressing bar. Bisexual, but turned to cross-dressing after his wife's death because he could never love another woman. In contrast to Haruhi's practically and lack of interest in material things, he is rather bad with money. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. It keeps saying him in this description, and he's a cross-dresser.
I mean,
and he's voiced by men in all the dubs.
Actually,
So-
that's kind of weird now. If it's just like, oh, he just
But
did
I-
it because he couldn't cope. It's like, oh,
I don't
that's
know.
not good.
Whatever.
I mean, I'm
It's a
also
weird
like,
scenario, but like whatever.
I'm also like not so like and they call Kino a woman, which is like biologically accurate, but for a reason like don't really want to get super far into it, but I would argue that like Kino, there's not enough evidence that Kino per se is a she, or that you can definitively call her a woman, because sometimes she will like go by she, but then there's other times where Kino goes by he, it seems like, where like someone would be like, hey boy, and Kino's like, what's up? So like it seems like she goes by not necessarily like transgender or anything, but like that Kino is pretty comfortable with both / doesn't care basically,
Right.
and that's kind of like the message you get across. So that's like that's a real
What are we
tangent.
talking about?
Yeah, I know. I like, man, I feel like this was a long tangent. So anyway, the question I had for you guys though was, we've been talking a lot about like crappy anime / gateway anime. Something that I thought was kind of interesting is like, what do you think makes a good gateway anime for like other people to watch?
I think it's a show that I guess could be. Yeah, I actually don't know how to put it into words. I guess it's a show that a lot of people can get into.
Like it has to be popular and not like or like
not necessarily popular.
Well, it
but
can be popular given the right circumstances.
yeah, it's like you know how there's some shows that like pretty much only people who watch a lot of anime are like gonna watch, like kind of like the obscure stuff.
like every single anime I watch.
Yeah.
Something made in the abyss.
Hey,
Made in the Abyss is pretty. I don't know. I think you could be a casual fan and watch that.
I mean, I wouldn't. It's not a gateway, but
No, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. What makes it not a gateway? Maybe that would like help nuance the question.
A lot of Japanese
Ooh.
culture.
Yeah, that
Like very Western shows are very easy to get into. Like Bebop is like anyone can watch Bebop. It's like the art style is not super anime. It's very Western. It's literally like the most Western show.
So we're also talking about gateway for a Western audience.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think another big thing, like kind of going off here, like what doesn't make a gateway, I would say is ridiculously complicated plots.
Yeah.
A
Yes.
good example would be like Kaiba is basically about is like holy cow. Like, I don't even know how to try to explain like this. Actually, I should change it. I should say maybe not complicated plot because I feel like complicated plots are fine. It's like complicated settings.
Yeah.
Because like in Kaiba, they throw you into this world where like people can buy and exchange money, and they like everyone's brains in computer chips, so you can switch bodies, and like it's just this like
Ooh, I'm so
super futuristic world, but like trying to like they don't tell you any of what I just told you, so you're literally just thrown into this world. And you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
right.
And so, like, that I feel like makes it really hard to just watch in general because you basically are trying to process every single detail on all this information. So I feel like generally, if you're just, like, stuck trying to read subtitles, like,
Yeah.
and if you're, like, because I feel like one thing you get to learn, at least is that like I feel like as you go along, you learn to read subtitles as well as like see what's going on in the scene. And I feel like that like if you can't do that, like don't watch Kaiba. Actually, in like there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't watch Kaiba, although it is a really good anime.
I need to watch Kaiba.
But it's like it's like a tough time sometimes because it can just be really difficult understanding what's going on.
Yeah. Actually, what you're saying about subs, I think also what makes a good gateway anime for like quite some people, not all people, would probably be a show that has a dub and like
A good
a good
Yeah.
dub, yeah, especially.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop and Fullmetal Alchemist at that.
Yeah, I mean, I like Naruto's dub. I know a lot of people don't, but I thought it was fine.
I do, too. It actually took a while for me to get used to the Naruto sub. And I only did that because I heard like, hey, the final episode came out. It's like, I guess I have to watch it now. I have to watch the sub.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting. I think I kind of disagree with you on your dub point because I think it depends on the individual, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that's what I'm
Because,
saying.
like-
It's not for everybody, but like I feel like for some people definitely it'd be a lot easier to watch
like
a dub over like
I'd
reading
say
sub
more
because
so than others.
I mean, personally, like I could never take anime seriously watching it for dub. Like I still struggle with that, so I like watching it in the sub because then it, for whatever reason, it seems less ridiculous to me. I don't know why, but like honestly, when I'm reading or not when I'm watching dubbed, sometimes I'm just like, oh god, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like why? Like it kind of dawns on me how like messed up or like how weird something is. Like if I watch Oriomo and dub, it would probably ruin my life.
Oh,
there,
yeah.
there is no dub.
At the
for
very
it.
least,
Alright.
maybe those animes also have to not have like crazy high stakes at the very beginning. Because maybe one reason why not many people don't mind the Naruto dub is because like when you just like hear them saying all this crazy stuff in English, and it's like this is cringy. But in the very beginning, like the universe wasn't at stake. There weren't 5 meteors falling in like 1 square mile at once. It was just like, okay, here's a mission. Like it was so like these are typical ninjas still with a above average teacher, Kakashi. It wasn't like, Actually, they all have a bloodline going back 7 billion years. It's like, oh, okay.
I mean, I think that is I mean, another thing that I will like to defend dub is I feel like the dubs has gotten better.
Oh,
like
much.
progressively,
Yeah.
like dubs are like generally like fairly dang good.
I mean,
Yeah.
Funimation dubs are. Sentai dubs
Yeah.
still aren't great, which is a weird problem that I feel like they should fix.
Yeah.
But like Funimation
Yeah,
dubs are
Funimation
just
does
quality.
really good ones. Some shows I'll say like sub or dub, like maybe even dub too.
Because like they just have their solid team of actors from the 90s and 2000s, and now they're kind of not using all of them as much because they only have so much time. They've just been hiring a consistently good staff. Like one of my favorite newish voice actors is actually, he's been around for a while. He played Alphonse in the original 2003 dub when he was literally a child, but now Aaron Dismuke, I don't know how to say his name, now he's actually like a grown-up person and he's great as a voice actor, and it's really cool that they're hiring new people that are able to just be really consistent and good. And I think it's now with the anime that we're getting, like since we're getting a lot more high school stuff with like younger people, it's better that they're starting to hire a lot of younger people so that it fits more, because a lot of their actors are just like, their voices don't work for younger people, but like now they have good young people. If that makes sense.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually think that like sometimes really weird anime could actually be a pretty good gateway to anime, because then it just they just get addicted to craving.
As long
But
as
so like what type? Like,
So
give
like
an example.
an example
Nichijou
I would
type
use,
stuff?
not necessarily. So I think Nichijou is good, but I actually thought Parasite
Did you
was
say
just.
Chico again?
I probably did. But I would say that like I thought Parasite was a surprisingly good gateway anime.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even though like it's probably one of the weirdest premises,
Oh, yeah.
like when
Parasite's cool though.
Yeah,
It
so
is
like
cool.
let's say like also Assassination Classroom. Really weird premise, but you can get into it.
I feel like Ass Class actually is a pretty good.
I think my problem with it is just it's not gateway enough.
No,
I feel like
wouldn't
because-
do it as a
Ass
gateway.
Class.
Really?
Because
Yeah.
this is my problem. There aren't enough likable characters.
Really?
Like it has a really strong it's about too many characters. Like the whole class is just really, there's too many characters to focus on them, except for like the main 3 that they focus on, and then you have like the adults that are important, and they're a really good strong cast, but the class just gets no characterization aside from Nagisa,
Karma.
Karma, Ritsu, is that her name? I don't know, the
Yeah,
girl.
I wish I could remember.
No,
And
Ritsu was the like
the robot?
the computer.
Yeah, okay, her and like
Ritsu.
Itona, the squid, the other
Yeah,
guy.
and the girl with the green hair.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
kind of
Spoilers.
Yeah.
whatever. Like those are the only 5 characters that like do anything important from the class, and then it's just Koro Sensei, the government guy, and what was her name? Bitch.
Yeah,
Bitch-
they
Bitch
actually
Sensei,
just call
yeah.
her Bitch Sensei.
Irina, was that her name?
I
think
who
so.
knows?
I don't know. I like.
Irina,
I like,
yeah, it's
yeah.
Irina.
Like I liked that cast, but the class itself was just so forgettable, and I feel like that's an important part of a good gateway anime is a memorable cast that you can latch onto.
What about
Like
the guy
that's
that
why I think
practiced
Naruto
his
works.
baseball like technique for like the entire episode? It's
I-
like,
Oh, you see again? Yeah, I don't know the dude's names.
I can't tell you anyone's names in that class.
I mean,
There's
I
like
can't-
30
I can't remember names
characters.
in general, so whether or not I can remember the name isn't what it is for me. It's just like, oh, I can remember him.
Well, I also feel like something that's all like I feel like I kind of see your point about strong cast, but I also feel like when you think about like FMA, Naruto, they
Yeah.
also start off with a small cast too.
Yeah, but then they
Relatively
build,
speaking. Yeah,
which is
exactly.
like when it becomes really cool. Like the best part of Naruto is the Chunin exam when you actually find out
Yeah.
about all these characters.
But like, I feel like I could see it being a bigger problem if the like I could see. Let me rephrase that. I could see Naruto being a not as good gateway if like they just threw you with all the characters,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
from like you
Well,
just would
yeah.
have.
They
no-
kinda
I mean,
did.
So that's the thing. Like, it's
They
like,
kind of
like you
did.
meet all the Konoha 9 whatever.
But I feel like the
in-
first episode is just mainly about Naruto. I
No,
feel like
yeah.
there's not a like I actually would kind of disagree with you in terms of, I actually think there's not a super strong main character in Ass Class, and that the roles are like too like so I feel like they try to characterize too many people at once instead of just Naruto focuses on Naruto basically the entire time till Naruto gets basically like I would say like 20 to 30 episodes of character like development and then they start branching on with but with Ass Class like they do not give the blue like I don't remember the blue
Nagisa.
Sure. Like, I don't remember his name, and I feel like he's a pretty forgettable character, honestly.
Yeah, he gets more development in the second season. I think the second season was a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I guess I could see that S Class has, like, it's kind of high stakes right away, maybe not. But at the very least, that was the point again about how it's, like, low stakes, and it's a small cast. So it's just like, okay, like, at that point, it's like, maybe it's because it's, like, realistic in terms of the universe that it can be like a person's first anime, like Boruto, obligatory had Naruto's son, Boruto's, and then funny jokes. But I think it goes to a small cast again, and it's just like, all right, low stakes ish again. So that can be like a young kid's like someone in like elementary schools right now, his first anime. And it'd be like, oh, what? There was an anime about Boruto's dad called Naruto.
I can't wait till that universe appears.
Yeah.
When people are like, what's Naruto? I thought it was Boruto. Like, that's gonna happen, and I kind of can't wait.
If I can give my honest opinion, I actually don't think that'll ever happen because I feel like Naruto's become mainstream enough that if you know of Boruto, / have seen Boruto, you will quickly see Naruto, but I hope one day.
It'll definitely be when we're like we will be like really old.
I mean, you don't think one kid one day will like go on Crunchyroll and be like, Boruto, this looks cool? Like he'll just stumble onto Crunchyroll because he'll watch some YouTube video where like their ad will be like, hey, if you like my content, go watch Crunchyroll and use my name for a 30-day free trial to watch anime. And this kid's like, anime? Okay, so he goes on Crunchyroll, then he's like, Boruto, this looks cool, and then he's like, oh, I'm gonna watch Boruto, and then doesn't realize there's a Naruto.
Yeah. Such a good Chinese cartoon.
It's very possible, though.
It helps that Boruto is apparently pretty good.
It is decent, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. Like, I will say that, like, it is sometimes a struggle knowing how powerful Naruto is, and he's just, like, kind of an idiot.
I don't know. I like Boruto a lot because my love for Boruto is basically summed up with this quote from The Office, where Michael Scott says, like, all my kids have grown up and married each other, and, like, that's why I like Boruto, because, like, it's, like... Because like those characters were like a part of me at a young age, and I've grown up with them, and it's weird.
Now they have kids and you don't.
I agree with you that is really cool.
I'm not jealous that they have kids.
And that's why I watched like 20-something episodes of Boruto. But part of the reason I stopped kind of recently is I was kind of like I feel like the coolness of seeing them kind of wore off a bit. Yeah. Where I realized like, oh, it's not really about them; it's about the kids. And I was like, screw the kids. I want to hear the dad struggle.
I mean, like after like fifth.
I'm an old man now. I gotta pay taxes. I understand Naruto way more than Boruto at this point.
Like after the like 5th or 6th grade, I stopped watching Naruto for a while, and it was like I saw the first. I want to say like 50-ish episodes of Shippuden when they were airing on like Disney XD, and then it became harder to watch it on TV, and then I just kind of stopped till like the middle of high school.
It was like,
and then
the internet has anime.
Well, I was like, Naruto was good when I was a young kid because they were my age, and then or slightly older, whatever. But then once I was at the same age that the characters were, I felt that it was much more relatable, and Shippuden was easier to watch in high school because I was their age, and it felt like they'd grown when I grew, and it was weird.
I mean, that's, like, honestly why I think, for those who haven't seen Boruto and have seen Naruto, you should honestly just watch the first couple of episodes and be like, damn, they're facing some similar problems to me. Granted, they've aged older than us, but, like, some of the things where it's like...
It's like, are you in touch anymore with the hip kids?
So wait, so actually I want to kind of ask, this is a slight tangent, but how similar is Boruto to Naruto, like as far as story wise?
So I actually like the message of Boruto a lot more than Naruto Shippuden, but not as much as Naruto. So basically Boruto's story / message is that it doesn't really matter where you're from.
Yeah.
It's just it's very individualistic. It's basically all about you. So it's basically about Boruto being like, I don't care that I'm the son of the Hokage. I'm me, and I'm gonna prove to everyone that I have like.
That I don't care that.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, it's like I don't care if someone has like 10 million bloodlines or not. Like all I care is about you, and I feel like that is a nice, refreshing message after Shippuden. I don't want to go into like spoiler territory, but I will say like I feel like there's times where they kind of dilute that message, where like they'll like kind of suddenly care about some person's background, and I'm like, because I feel like they do kind of care about people's backgrounds too much almost to like make that storyline work, but at the same time because I feel like they're kind of saying you have to acknowledge your past, but like. Yeah. But not dwell on it.
But at the same time, like just as you don't inherit your father's sins, you don't inherit his accomplishments either.
Yeah, like that's basically the thing. But like, what's kind of weird about it is like they send that message, but then they try to tell you all of like some random new characters like accomplishments and like how they came to be and shit. And you're just like, do I really need to know this if this storyline's all about like non-connection? Yeah. Although it's kind of. I shouldn't say it's about non-connection. It's about kind of struggling with those connections, which is interesting in some cases, but I felt like it was sometimes poorly done in some. Like, I don't want to go too far and spoil it, but that's what I would say is, like, my overall assessment. So, my overall assessment of Boruto is pretty good. It's just, like, I don't know, I've gotten kind of sick of shonen recently, so I'm just not really watching a lot, but... Yeah, I mean, I think it's fairly solid, honestly. Like, not as good as Naruto IMO, but better than Shippuden. Do you agree, Craig?
Yeah. Like, I don't
Good
know.
gateway anime for all y'all.
I've only seen, like, 5 episodes of Boruto, so I really can't judge it. But it's good.
Yeah. I saw, like, I guess it wasn't a tuning fight, but it was a little, like, examine fight. It was between Boruto and, I think, Shikamaru's son. And it was like, oh, hey, they're using jutsus, they're using strategies again. That's pretty cool. Like, I missed that. And Shippuden went at some point it became Naruto's big ball of chakra got even bigger and even more chakra-y.
That being said, I feel like there is, like, because Boruto can already use, like, the Sharingan jutsu and can use a crap ton of them. Like, he can make quite a few. So I feel like I can see where, like, power creep might just, like, make them, like, invincible, you know what I mean? But we'll see, like, not, like, a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's the thing about, like, a good gateway anime and all that stuff. It's, like, at some point, I guess one could argue in that case that Shippuden got too simple because the tactics and all the strategies and fights got too simple. But one of my favorite fights was, it was Kakashi versus Obito, and it was just, like, a regular fist fight with, like, 2-3 jutsus used in, like, that 5 minutes. But I remember that fight, like, second for second, a lot better than, like, Naruto versus Sasuke and Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura versus the Witch of the West, basically. She was, whatever her face was. I can't even remember her name. That's how,
it's something with a K.
Kaguya.
Yeah,
that's what it was. But there's too simple, and to add on to that, I suppose it's where, like, if the world can stay simple enough or realistic enough, like, not, like, overly complicated, and it can be explained somewhat through exposition / making the exposition actually a part of the plot. Like, when they're, like, explaining, like, when Squad 7 was getting their first mission, and was it still, the third Hokage, he was like, oh, well, you see, there are these kind of types of missions. You got the lowest mission because you're still getting. It works because these are 3 kids, and they probably don't really know about that stuff yet. So it's like, okay, it doesn't seem like what's the term? Ham-fisted, essentially. Yeah.
Like, I thought it was a cool mission because it was supposed to be, like, basic, and then Zabuza showed up, and they're like, oh,
whoosh.
If we knew Zabuza was going to be here, this would have been, like, S-ranked.
Yeah.
And, like, well, I also think part of the thing that's so cool about the arc is when you really think about, like, alright, so Naruto does some stuff, but let's be real, Kakashi does the heavy lifting.
Well,
And
that
that's
was-
what's
yeah,
like,
that
that's
was
cool.
time.
That was the
Yeah.
cool part about that arc because we saw a legitimately strong character in the first
Yeah.
12 episodes of the show. And, like, we saw Kakashi fight, like, an actual fight where he
Yeah.
thought he was going to die. It wasn't, like, a simple, like, oh, I'm holding back kind of thing. It's like, oh, this is a problem.
I feel like that might have
They're
been
gonna
done on
die.
purpose.
Or like in My Hero, where like they're basically just in a kind of school setting. I mean, I guess in episode 12, like they does kind of do a similar thing,
Yeah.
but it's not like
It doesn't feel scary.
like
Yeah.
because you because you basically know in the back of your head like, oh, All Might's coming. While with this, it's
What if he
like
doesn't? What if everyone dies?
Like, I don't know. Like, we knew how strong, like, All Might was,
Yeah.
kind of. Like,
'Cause it
we
was
knew he was
established.
the strongest character in the
Mhm.
world.
Yeah.
Whereas Kakashi's just any ninja. Like, we
Yeah.
didn't know how strong Kakashi
Yeah.
was, but, like, Zabuza was, like, a threat.
Yeah, and Zabuza's like his capacity to intimidate the audience was kind of built after he died. It was like, oh yeah, he was one of the 7 swordsmen, and here's how stupid powerful all these others are. So it's like, oh, he was like one of these like big crowds that's known all across the lands, which doesn't mean much in the beginning, but later on in Naruto, when like everyone in all the other like parts of that world, that continent, talk about like the 7 swordsmen, it's like, oh, they actually were known
yeah.
like all over the lands, like.
Yeah.
And, like Kakashi was able to take on one of those, and Naruto and Sasuke, it's a little bit of a Deus Ex, was able to take on basically Zabuza's right hand man / girl /
No, she,
Haku
was a guy.
Haku's best human.
I mean, so I guess one last thing is like, so what do you think? Because I think you said the show needs to be, or I don't think you said, but you said the show could be popular. I actually was thinking about it, and what do you guys think that of a show almost needing to be popular to be a good gateway show? Because in some ways, I actually think that's kind of true. Like you want to, like I feel like if you just throw them into the depths
Yeah.
of anime, like, and have no way to ground themselves in, then you're like it's a problem.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like with Yuri on Ice, that got so much like stuff on
Yeah.
like social media and like what have you. Like I feel like anyone who's like heard of anime has probably also heard of like Yuri on
Yeah,
Ice
yeah.
/ like Attack on Titan. So I feel like that
I
sense.
don't know. I wouldn't consider Yuri on Ice a good gateway anime.
I wouldn't consider it either, but I feel like, for instance, Attack on Titan, almost anyone who's heard of it, anime has probably heard of Attack
Yeah.
on Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably only person excluding from that is like my mom, who's
Yeah.
heard of anime.
My dad
But
watched Attack on Titan with me. Like,
Really?
Yeah, because like I told him about it. He's like, I'm curious what this is. So we watched it like every week when it aired
Like,
on Toonami.
To like give an
Like,
example,
cool.
I went to the movie theater. I think it was to see Power Rangers like last semester.
Oh yeah,
And
that was
like
dope.
I saw a Attack on Titan season 2
Yeah, I remember
commercial
I
in an
remember that.
American movie theater, and I
Wow.
was like,
Yeah.
that's how you know it's big. Like,
Yeah.
so I feel like that sense of like community is very helpful because I feel like if you just show them like Legends of the Galactic Heroes and then let's say they actually watch it, I feel like they won't be super immersed into it because they won't be immersed necessarily into the culture / people, because I feel like if you go up to say someone and be like, yeah, only anime I've really seen is like Legends of the Galactic Heroes, how many people could sustain a conversation
Yeah.
with them, you know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like,
I think a big part of it is like who has the license to a show, because Funimation has the funds and ability to make shows big because they had Attack on Titan and My Hero Academia and Dragon Ball,
Yeah.
but like Sentai Filmworks does not have anything anywhere near as big. Their biggest shows are like Food Wars, Parasite, Danmachi, like
well, I feel like
stuff that anime fans think are good and popular. No Game, No Life, stuff like that, but like things that are not mainstream
You're
successes.
saying that.
Whereas Funimation is like, Sentai is like, we're going after anime fans. Funimation is like, we're going after people.
Yeah.
And that's how they do their marketing. Like, that's how you were able to see an Attack on Titan commercial, because Funimation has the money to get that into theaters.
And then also the fact that we're working with Crunchyroll
Yeah,
as well makes it even
yeah.
bigger.
Well, like, Funimation had Your Name last
They
year,
also
and they
have
made
a-
that a mega hit.
They also have good enough advertising in general, and there's a thing in psychology getting a bit too real. But there's of all like the kinds of types of validity and reliabilities, the one that's least important to actual researchers is PR validity, public face validity. Basically, like how does the public perceive it? It's the most useless to actual researchers, but in a way, it's also the most important because if the public really doesn't like it or they think it's really boring, then there's a power probability that it will get very little attention at all. And that's kind of the thing with this as well, where it's like, even if a show is really good, if not a lot of people know about it, then you can discuss it with anyone else because no one knows about it. And that's kind of the thing about the gateway anime, is that you might learn about other animes throughout such conversations. I think that's how I might have learned about Lucky Star, actually, because I talked about like a nice cutesy moment in Naruto and someone was like, actually, here's this thing.
I mean, so something that, like, I also would argue, though, that for those shows, that, like, I also think Funimation kind of picks up the, movies / shows that are for everyone. Like, basically anyone can watch Your Name, My Hero Academia, or Attack on Titan. I feel like, yes, that they pushed it pretty hard, and I won't deny that, but, like, not everyone... I feel like very few people would actually... Well, not very few, because it's actually gotten pretty big, but, like, Made in Abyss has some, like, you just don't... I feel like you shouldn't throw someone not an unsuspecting victim into that void. Like, you don't want to scout them for life. Just like how you wouldn't show someone Berserk. And I feel like Food Wars is kind of similar, because even though, like...
Food Wars is weird.
Because, Food Wars is super weird. Like, it is surprisingly sexual... And just
to like normal anime fans, it's like it's weird, but it's not that weird. If you're showing a new time viewer, they're just like, "What the fuck are you showing?"
Like someone so we watched A Restaurant to Another World in club, and someone at my house was watching it like at the same time, basically. And like there were some boob scenes in club, but people were just like not like unsensitive, but like there's just like she was just like a naked woman, like with her hair covering her, and like exactly, like you made the expression where you're just like, oh, okay, I know what you mean, like that anime thing where they're just basically naked but not. Yeah. But like he sent me a snap where it's like, what the fuck am I watching? So like I feel like that's the difference between like. And granted, he actually has seen quite a bit of anime, but I feel like not enough. Yeah, well, not that side either, you know.
Yeah.
So like, it's one of those things where it's like,
as you watch more, shock factor just like decreases because you see the tropes. Yeah. Like it's very rare at this point that I'll like see something violent or whatever and just be like, whoa. Except there was something I watched recently where I was like genuinely disgusted at what I just saw.
Little Sister's All You Need.
No, it was something violent and it was like uncensored.
Unborn fetus is all you need.
No. Okay, all right.
Yikes.
R.I.P.
Step 2.
Dang, it's gonna really bother me.
Was it a recent show?
I don't remember. I feel like it was something I had seen before.
Hellsing Ultimate?
No, it was it Fate Apocrypha? I really don't remember, but I saw like a really uncensored, really cool violent action scene. I'm like,
really
damn,
cool.
What?
That's cool.
Was it a one?
I don't remember.
Was it a one where it's like where it's like a bunch of like monsters? It's like this girl is supposed to like, this girl fights the monsters and protects the town, but at the end it's like actually the monsters kill everyone.
Oh,
and there's a really weird moment where like it's fan servicey at first. So basically, a monster dangles a girl's legs between his two arms. So it's like, all right, skirt down, panty shot. And then he just rips the girl apart, like she actually dies, and like the blood splurts from like where the legs were, and it's like, what?
Oh.
Like,
I think it might have been Garo, Juni Tyson, or
I feel like it could have been Juni Tyson.
Blood Blockade. It was some. I think it was like Garo. Garo, yeah. Like I think it was a really cool, uncensored, violent scene, and it was just cool. Yes, it was Garo. I remember now. This computer like came to life and just like sucked this guy's like face out. Like it was violent and cool, and I'm like, Funimation showing me uncensored content, simulcast uncensored. Let's go.
Yeah, boy.
Oh god, it was just cool.
We are not sponsored by Funimation.
Can we get sponsored by Funimation? No. Funimation send me free stuff.
Yeah, you pay for my tuition or give me free shit.
God, I love Funimation.
So, do we want to like talk anything more about gateway anime before going into some, like, I guess, anime that we recently watched?
I think we said a lot.
Yeah, I think we said a
we
lot.
covered quite a bit.
So like I guess we can like go around and say like the one thing that is important for a gateway anime to be. I'll start off. I'll say it has to be popular.
Strong cast.
Preferably a dub.
Fan service.
Yeah,
Only boobs.
Edgy.
Everywhere. At the very least, just like the stakes aren't big initially. Understandable, but still at least like high stakes for the character. Like obviously for Naruto, you want to be Hokage. That's big. Stakes got bigger, but that was pretty big at the time, being basically president. So large but understandable stakes, at most.
So do we want to talk about shows we've watched recently?
Yeah. I mean,
Man, I want to watch about Boku no Hero forever, but.
So one show that I watched recently, and this saved my life when I was writing a 20-page paper, and I wrote 30 pages overall that week.
Damn.
Double space. It was over 9,000 words though, so maybe.
It's 9,000.
But Little Witch Academia, like, legitimately kind of saved my life there. Because, like, I wasn't really eating, I wasn't sleeping too much, and I was like, I guess I need something to, like, slow my roll, and, like, Little Witch Academia was what the doctor prescribed. Like, very chill, very, like, I feel like relaxing. I think you said you just watched it after Madoka Magica.
The first time, and it was really I was like very uneasy because I was just thinking, where's the backstabbing? Where's the 10-year-olds romancing each other? Where's the actually it was the small kitty cat who was playing with you in the entire time. Where's the whoops element twist? No, it's just
wholesome. It's kind of like, honestly, I kind of want to watch.
Wholesome.
I actually haven't seen Lucky Star, and I kind of want to, just because, like, after watching, like, Little Witch, it's like, I could use more wholesome anime.
Yeah.
In my
Right,
life.
yeah.
I could
Just like feel good shows.
There are very many wholesome moments in Lucky Star. I'm just now remembering.
Lucky Star's great.
Yeah. Like with the time where I can't remember the main character's name, but she's just like playing with her teacher on that one MMORPG, and it's like, oh, they're just playing. That's cool. That's nice. Like, there's no ulterior motive. That's what I was looking for. It's just like, it's just life going. God, I wish.
One of the, I can't remember this manga's name, but this is basically one of the few manga that I just like, people I feel like should read it. And hopefully I'm going to find it. But it's basically, so it's technically a josei. And it's about, and josei is manga / anime geared for like older women. But what's really interesting is that it's about a like single mother who is a famous, because it's basically the autobiography of a single mother who's a famous mangaka or manga artist.
What is it called?
I forgot. I'm looking it up. Alright, so basically I'm going to continue talking about it as I look it up. Basically it's basically about how this woman became a famous manga artist, and it just goes through all the trials and tribulations of trying to be a manga artist, and how like it's not easy at all, and how, like all the basically art, like the art school she went to 4 years, the fact that she basically had to, like, she basically drew since she was a little kid and kept drawing.
Is that it?
Yes, it is.
Kaku Shikachi.
Yeah, see, it's really hard. I want to say Kaku Shikajika.
Wait,
Does it have an English title?
Nope.
I just want to go on a really quick tangent for a second. The Yuri on Ice Blu-ray just finally got announced and is up for pre-order. I might buy it.
Where's the confetti?
Yeah, God bless Funimation. And Attack on Titan Season 2. Woo! Blu-ray's coming. And Scar Red Rider Zexus. Woo! And Token Ranbu Hanamaru.
Where's the fireworks?
But Yuri on Ice limited edition. Oh, I might buy it.
I will say, like,
By Yuri.
Love
No,
me some
don't.
Yaoi.
Don't.
And Keijo! Woo!
Oh, wait.
Oh,
the
that's a
best
good one,
anime?
man.
The best anime?
Wait, let me just read these announcements. Yuri on Ice, Blu-ray, Keijo, Monster Hunter, Token Rambu Hanamaru, Akiba's Trip, some new Dragon Ball and Fairy
Akiba's Trip, I feel
Tail,
like.
All Out, Izetta the Last Witch, Scar Red Rider, and Attack on Titan Season 2. Get hyped.
Are those the Blu-rays
Yeah.
or special edition?
Some both.
Akiba's Trip got a Blu-ray. What the hell?
Yeah. They release everything on Blu-ray.
Yeah, they do,
Yeah,
honestly.
Blu-ray isn't exactly rare. It's
Well, like,
I
Blu-ray
know,
but
doesn't
it's like
release
such
just
a.
DVDs.
I don't know. I feel like the series didn't deserve.
And
Are you
they-
trying to?
they-
Are you
they
implying that
simuldubbed it,
Keijo
so-
doesn't need a Blu-ray?
No, not Keijo. Akiba's
I
Trip.
think he's saying
Well-
that he doesn't want HD butts.
anything they dub, they release on Blu-ray because like they already did it. So,
Yeah.
but like
that's
they're
easy.
releasing Scar Red Rider, which they never dubbed. I think on just DVD.
Now on DVD.
And I mean, it is Black Friday soon, but
You were saying with the.
oh, all right. So going back to the
Black
manga,
Friday.
like Kaku Shika Jika.
It's a stupid name.
I feel like it probably doesn't sound like that in Japanese, but yeah, I mean, oh yeah. So all I'm saying is like it's only 5 volumes, and it like I think it really shows you how much time, love, and affection people put into their works when like making manga and like anime in general.
Ruins everything.
Basically, although capitalism also incentivizes people to make manga, so.
Yeah, you just
Let's
need-
say you wouldn't be seeing manga.
You just need
if
stable income.
Japan was communist.
Communist waifus. I don't know. That's
I don't know. Waifus, I think, are the opiates of the is the opium for the masses. So maybe maybe if they were communist, there might be more. But that's a different debate. But yeah, like I just think it's like really solid, really like it's slice of life, and it's just like very laid back and very I think telling of like what you have to do to become like a good artist or mangaka or basically be successful in life in general.
and then like make 10,000 a year.
Well, I mean, like she actually was this is also I should say the perspective of someone who kind of made it big. So like even though she has a kid, she has like she has assistants and stuff that like help her out,
Right.
and it's like the assistants who probably make like nothing a year, but. It is like I don't know, I just thought it was very interesting seeing basically this life story of a manga artist. That's like basically it's an autobiography basically. Like it's not like I think she does admit that there's like some fictionalized elements of it, but for the most part it's essentially an autobiography, which I feel like in terms of manga and anime, there's like not a single one of those. So I feel like it's truly unique in that sense.
Where's the mecha fight?
Actually, speaking of mecha, I'll use that as a way to get into this.
Bored.
Manga I just finished it's called Bokurano. We actually I think mentioned
Oh,
it last week. Has
I
anybody
was
read
thinking
it?
about that.
Isn't
'cause
that
when he
the
brought up
really
Valbrave,
Isn't that a super messed up mech one? Or
it's like
no?
Valbrave.
Yeah,
it's like if
it's-
you enter it, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
that one with the kids and the guy's like, "Hey, want to play a game?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I saw a few episodes. It
Do
was
not
really-
watch the anime.
Yeah, I
Read the manga.
Really?
Yeah,
is
the
the
anime-
Is the anime bad or?
It's not necessarily bad, but like the manga does it better, and also the ending for the manga is a lot better than I think than the
Better
anime.
in terms of not.
It
a
fits.
total-
It fits the tone of the rest of the manga. The anime try to like make it.
From what I heard, the end of the anime it was just a total like everyone loses thing. Is that what happens in manga, or is it like a little bit not wholesome? But
I
less,
think I know
like,
the ending of the
lighthearted,
manga,
at
and
least.
like I think it's pretty sad.
Yeah,
Is
and
it- yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to say because that's like the part of reading it all the way through. But yeah. So for those who don't know, essentially Bokurano is a series. It's a deconstruction of the mech genre, And essentially, yeah, these like 15 kids are randomly. Yeah, it's 15. Yeah. So these 15 kids get randomly, like they're on a summer vacation.
15,
yeah. There's like they're all on their summer vacation. They're enjoying life, whatever, and then they end up going to this cave. They find this old dude with a bunch of computers, and he's like, "Hey, you want to play a game?" And then them being stupid kids in 7th grade. I also should mention that they're in 7th grade, which you should keep in mind while reading this. But yeah. The guy asks them, "You want to play a game?" And they all sign up, yes. And essentially, what it turns into is the fact that they have to pilot this mech to fight off these other mechs that appear. And essentially, what they don't find out until a little bit later is that every time someone pilots the mech, that they die at the end after piloting it. So at first, I thought it was going to be essentially all of them being like, "Oh." Like, I thought every character, like, all the characters get their own arcs and it developed them in a different way. But I thought at first going into that it was going to be kind of generic and like, oh, I need to do this to save the world and protect my family and everything, even though I'm going to die. But every character, either, like, they go through accepting that or not even accepting that. Like, it differs for each character, and it takes a more realistic approach to how they, like, get over this, like, the fact that either way they're going to die. So it's like very existential.
Yeah, I saw a few episodes. I can't remember which one it was, but I thought it was pretty cool. Just realizing, just like showing an audience, like, yeah, not everyone can like greet death with a smile on their face and be like, yeah, I'm satisfied with what's happening. Some people just like claw and snarl and just yell and basically really cannot accept it, which is it's like not a bad thing. But it's like a lot of people just romanticize accepting death.
Yeah, like heroic deaths.
No, and people, not everyone can do it. It just don't feel bad about it.
And well, I feel like it's not like there's also the question of like even if you can't do it, is it even the right thing to do?
Yeah, they go over that. So it's like it's realistic and it's not generic at all. I highly recommend it. It was a really good read.
Anyone got anything else? I mean, the one thing I will say is like I'll keep beating the dead horse or whatever.
Yeah.
Girls Last Tour.
Hey.
What is that?
Girl Last Tour.
Oh, you were in there. You were in here last week.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, it wasn't. That's I think that was a good week to miss.
Oh man, it was. I'm just saying, Girls Last Tour, masterpiece. Little Sister Was All You Need, masterpiece. There's nothing better. All right, no. Girls Last Tour is better, but honestly, those two actually might be like the two anime that I'm currently liking the most.
So like sleeper hits?
Like kind of sleeper hits, yeah. I would say Kino's Journey.
The new one?
New one, wouldn't recommend it unless if you really, really liked season 1 because it's basically just the worst season 1. No way to like.
Mm-hmm.
They have like I feel like they've had maybe 2 to 3 good episodes out of like 5 or 6 episodes, but like there's one or 2 episodes that were like actually kind of mediocre, or one that was actually bad, and you're just like kind of bit like that didn't really happen in the first season. So, but I can go on talking about each individual like fall show basically because I've seen most of them, but I feel like I'm gonna stop here.
I think should we wrap it up, gang?
Yeah, I think so.
Actually, one thing I want to say, you know what I just find it weird, like about Little Sisters All You Need. That show has a very low score on my anime list.
Yeah,
all right.
Like
because people just like write it off. Like
because
how low is it?
It's like 6.73.
All right,
that's above average.
Really?
No,
I consider
5 is average, 10 is best.
No, but everybody usually does it from like 5 to 10.
Right,
no one really does.
IGN 9 out of 10 didn't give.
I mean, I definitely give things lower than 5 for sure.
Yeah. But
I
those
give
are
it
really
yeah.
I actually say if this show is average, it's like it's a 5, and I was like, whoa, it's below average. Like, no, you dingus.
If I don't like something, it gets a 4 or lower. Like if I somewhat like something, it gets a 4.
Now that being said, nothing ever gets a 1 or a 10 because nothing has ever
I've
literally
given
done
a couple
nothing right
tens.
or nothing wrong.
I mean, something that I should say with all seriousness is like there are some like I guess kind of disturbing parts in Little Sisters All You Need because like it is about a guy who has like a little sister
Little bit.
fetish,
That's just 'cause
which
you
is
don't
like,
understand, 'cause
but
it's
like-
actually even
but they really
have
no, but like,
my uncle.
Yeah, but it hasn't gone over like any like really like etchy between him and his sister that he still hasn't
yeah.
figured out.
Well, doesn't he
is
have
his-
a brother?
He has a brother, but that's actually his.
Why doesn't he screw
Whoa.
Wait, he is a girl?
Yeah, so all
Yeah.
right, so
No,
it's really
actually-
funny. I mean, we just spoiled it, but there's a super funny part where
You figured
like,
that out in the second episode. Pretty
You
much.
do?
Yeah, they show a scene.
but like, there's like they confirm it in episode 5.
Oh yeah, that was so funny. That was actually kind of funny.
Nice.
And so basically they're like it's about a guy who really likes he's a little sister novelist and he just has a fetish for little sisters and he has a what he thinks brother.
Yeah. They
who,
actually,
like,
actually
cooked-
to cut you off real quick, they actually, now that I think about it, it actually says in the description on my anime list for the manga, for the anime that it's a she.
Really?
Yeah, they do. That's how I remember. That's how I knew. I knew going into the first episode that was.
But I actually honestly it's a surprisingly like interesting like almost deconstruction of the trap. Like I
Yeah.
actually like kind of like it a lot.
Yeah.
Because like the character's treated like a trap, but it's actually a woman.
Yeah.
Which is like, and granted, trap is like pretty offensive, kind of like
Yeah.
yeah. But it's I just like that like I just thought that like the fact that she like they actually are playing her like now like kind of treating her as a woman like at least not necessarily the characters but the anime I think is super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And like that being said, like I could still see this show turning out to be trash, like
Yeah,
and taking a really trash turn at
Yeah.
some point. But so far, I think like it's surprisingly good. And I think part of the reason why, I mean, if you watch the first 20 seconds, I would give it like
Oh yeah, no, I would give that like a 3, maybe even
yeah,
a 2.
like it is actually unwatchable.
It
Like,
kind of almost like it's weird because it has a similar premise pretty much to like Aramanga Sensei in a way, and
Well, it's
this show actually focuses on authors and
well, it's
Right.
Not little sisters.
no, like,
yeah,
well,
What
what's,
about big sisters?
no,
no, what's interesting about it is that it like it's basically an autobiography of Aramanga Sensei, like dude, which is like pretty funny, like, but I think I don't know. We can go on about it. Honestly, we just need to have a whole podcast. So it's just
Absolutely not. No, I think it's time to wrap it up. I think we've had enough sister
I
talk.
think it's time to wrap up this plane of existence.
All right, I think it's time.
Okay.
Thank you guys for listening. These
and
are-
I'm Club signing out.
Oh.